Hey there, Alex Kidman with my quick video review of the new Google Pixel 5. Now, this is Google's new flagship phone, but as flagship phones go, it's an unusual one because when you say flagship phone, usually what you mean is the best screen, the best processor, the most memory at a premium price. And the Pixel 5 really is none of those things. Typically in a given year, you'd see a Pixel phone running with the best processor that Qualcomm makes this year. That's not the case for the Pixel 5. It's running on the Snapdragon 765G platform. Now, that's quite a capable phone platform, but it's very much in the mid-range, which means this isn't exactly competing with the likes of your Samsungs, for example, because they're running on 800 series processors. This is a more affordable option, still with plenty of power, and of course, the promise of 5G. So what do I like about it? Well, I'll be honest, I like the fact that this is a smaller phone with a smaller display. That brings with it some advantages in terms of portability and pocketability. It's quite nice if you like a smaller, more powerful phone. And admittedly, that's a subset of the market, but if you don't, there's always the 4A 5G, which is also a little bit cheaper. And there's an interesting comparison to be drawn there as well, because it's a little bit odd in a way that the 4A 5G is bigger than the 5 is, although the 5 has a few other advantages up its sleeve, which are really quite welcome. For a start, there's the 90 Hz refresh rate screen, which is good when you notice it. It uses a dynamic setting, so it's not always going to be on. That should be a battery saving measure in theory, but it's a pleasant enough kind of thing. Honestly, with 90 Hz, you notice it more when you go back to 60 Hz. If you're on a 60 Hz phone, you're not instantly going to go, my God, this is so much more fluid or anything like that. But it is a nice to have. There are other nice to have features as well. Things like, for example, wireless charging. And the way they've done that on the Pixel 5 is really rather clever, because most wireless charging phones have glass backs to enable that Qi wireless charging to work. This doesn't. It's an aluminium back. But there's a very, very small resin area that correlates to where the wireless charger will be, or where you're going to drop it on a wireless charger so that it will charge wirelessly. Smart bit of engineering there. Now, in power terms, yeah, it's only the Snapdragon 765G, and it pretty much runs like every other Snapdragon 765G phone I've tested this year, and there's a lot of them. Maybe a little bit better, in fact, of course, because the other big advantage to the Pixel 5 is that it's running clean Android. Google has this kind of in-house advantage where it can go, well, we know exactly what the hardware is and we can code really specifically for it. Pixel phones have always had that advantage, and of course, you're also getting that 3-year upgrade cycle. Then there's the camera, and this is a very mixed experience. I've found it a very mixed experience, because what they've gone for is a single primary lens and then an ultra-wide lens. Me being me, I probably would have preferred a telephoto over the ultra-wide, but it's a horses for courses kind of thing. Where this excels is for people who do just want that simple point, shoot, get a good result kind of deal, because yeah, you can totally do that with this phone. The problem in a way with that kind of statement though is you can do that with a lot of the mid-range phones right now. Where this does stand out is in low light. Google's AI has long had that advantage for Pixel phones that they can shoot really good low light photos. Now, new this year is this idea that you'll be able to take portrait photos in low light. Does that always work? No, not always. If you're in really dim light, it'll do its best, but you'll often end up with quite noisy photos, lots of pixelation in them. In moderate light, though, it can turn up photos that would surprise you coming out of any smartphone, let alone one that costs under $1,000. So what do I not like? Well, look, honestly, the design does not scream premium because it looks exactly the same as every other Pixel phone that Google currently sells. And because I've been testing the 4A 5G and I've got a 4A lurking around, there have been a couple of times where I've picked up the wrong phone simply because I've gone, oh yeah, black phone, right, I'll grab that. It's maybe a little plain, maybe a little uninteresting. It's still a fixed storage phone, and I wish Google would get on board with storage expansion, but of course, they want you to throw everything in the cloud. It's 5G, and look, I've not had a lot of time to test out its 5G chops. And it's also worth noting, though, that this is one of the very few phones, in fact, in Australia that is sold as both millimetre wave and sub-6 in the same phone. Now, you don't get that with the 4A 5G. The models of the 4A 5G sold in Australia is only sub-6. Now, that correlates with the 5G networks we've got right now, but in terms of future-proofing, you're getting that little bit extra with the Pixel 5. The challenge for Google, of course, is that it's priced this as a mid-range phone. It's a $999 phone, and there's quite a few 765G phones at that price point or a little bit lower if what you really wanted was the 5G side of it. If, however, you're looking for a clean Google experience, if you're someone who's bought Pixels in the past and you're a couple of years between upgrades, yeah, this is a really solid upgrade. It's maybe not the powerhouse that we might have wished for, and I can't quite decide if that's really smart marketing on Google's part, given the way the world has gone, given the way most people's budgets have gone, or if that's something that's going to come back and bite them because this is underpowered compared to, say, a Note 20, although, admittedly, in some cases it's nearly half the price or less. Anyway, that's my take on the Google Pixel 5. Got any questions or comments? Let me know below, and as always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.